You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, the #1 resource for growing your function musician business. If you're a solo wedding singer, part of a 12-piece luxury show band, or anything in between, and want to learn from other successful musicians, you're in the right place.
And then we're going to go straight onto another one. And this one came from Soul Monkeys on Instagram again. And they asked, how do you successfully collect Google reviews? For me, this one's pretty easy, is just ask. Send out emails straight away after gigs. There was the episode with someone, I can't remember his name, Richie Cooper from Happy Hour, right? Yeah, he in that episode he mentioned they literally go around, like if they're playing a wedding or something, the band literally go around with a QR code after they've played to people at tables and stuff and say, "Did you enjoy us?
Yeah.
Would you?" They say yes. And he says, "Brilliant. Would you mind leaving us a quick review?" Like that's easy and like instant.
Bang on. Or the only thing that I can add to that is, from my perspective as a musician, then I would just do the same thing, but just message them after the show.
Yeah.
And the principle that you should take away is make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Give
Here's
them
a link.
Direct link.
Yeah.
Make it easy, and then they can say whatever they want. But you've just made it not onerous on their part. They don't have to go searching through your website or through your Instagram and have a look for it proactively, because they'll give up. If you just give them a link, they'll just be like, "Yeah, loved it." Go on there, quick review, done.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Yeah, so for me, and it's like slightly different, but as a business, but I would always send a follow-up email. If they say something nice in that email, I'll say, "Great, amazing. Would you mind leaving that as a review? Here's the link." Or if they haven't said anything off the bat, just say, "I would really appreciate a quick Google review. It really helps grow my business. Here's the link." You don't have to say much, but yeah, it really helps move up the Google ranks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, a QR code would be a good idea for being at gigs. I assume, I don't know if they're a wedding band or what kind of band, but a QR code would be really handy, I think.
What did they leave it on? Did they go around with it on their phone, or did they go around with it on... Did they leave it
I don't know off the top of my head.
At the front of the room or something? Because, I mean, I have QR codes on my business cards, and I'm about to get some new ones. So actually, it could be a good idea. But business cards, you want to send them to for inquiries.
Yeah.
But you could effectively just put one banner outside the front that says, "Did you enjoy us? Leave a review."
Yeah.
Just make it so easy for people.
Yeah. I mean, even just printing off a QR code and laminating it and carrying it around saying, "Do you want to leave this review? Here's the link."
I have that actually. You can do that for 20p.
Do it now.
You can do that for 20p. You could leave all of them on the tables at the end of the wedding.
Yeah.
And people would do it. And make sure that whatever you put it on looks kind of bright and colourful, because obviously drunk people are like children.
So this one came through from a couple of different people actually as well, and that is ghosting, and just the fact that that's a problem that they're dealing with quite a lot at the minute. So yeah, I mean, I've got a few points on this one, but have you been ghosted by clients before? Is it a regular thing for you?
Just like redefine exactly what ghosting is. So
well, I took it from what they've said, which was just that ghosting is a problem. That was all that they wrote. But I would say that is someone that's like contacted you asking for a quote. Maybe you've given them a quote, maybe you haven't yet, but then they're just not replying to any messages now.
Right.
And so for me, that would, to sort of solve that. I mean, you're not going to solve that entirely. Some people, they just aren't going to reply. But what I would do is create a good follow-up sequence. And that's sort of automated, what's the word when you templated replies? Yeah. Obviously you change them a little bit to make them a bit more individualized, but you have a follow-up template. So that's okay. So someone's filled out your quote request form on your website. You've then sent them a quote, and then you haven't heard anything back. So 5 days later you follow up, and then 2 weeks later after that you follow up. And basically the rule is that I've heard quite a lot of times that if you should be following up with people until you get a yes, a no, you die, or they die. Yeah.
That's stuck in my head from one of your other podcasts. To a degree. I must admit I have a slightly different mantra. Maybe from a sales perspective, is you don't be too pushy. So if they go dead on you, that's their problem. Basically, they're missing out on you. I'm much more of, you keep going ahead, and if you maintain your socials at the same time, and you keep having momentum, those people will come back.
So that's it, isn't it? It's like showing up and reminding people that you exist, and that's kind of what social media is for.
In terms of following up more than twice, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't bother. I do follow up with certain things if they're sort of high ticket, but I say, oh, can I bump you for this? I don't, like, the language that you use in there is, use it fairly chill. Don't put any pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I would normally, if I haven't heard back from someone in say 5 to 7 days, then I would normally do an email just saying, just wanted to follow up and check in, see if you were still keen to talk about this. If not, no worries, just let me know either way. And then usually they'll say, you know what, we went with someone else, or we decided against it at the minute. Cool. That's the no. You don't follow up after that. But people get busy. They forget about things. I've had things where I followed up 3-4 times later, and they're like, yeah, thank you for following up. We things just got in the way, but we still want to talk about this. We still want to go forward with it. So again, it's just kind of reminding people that you're there.
I think that works.
It's definitely not about being pushy and saying we need you. You have to say yes or no. Like, well, you kind of do, but
I disagree with they have to say yes or no. So a couple of things that I would say is, firstly, when I put the rate forward, they say they're interested, and then I say, right, if it's anything more than a pub gig, I generally say, right, here's what I want for a deposit just to lock in. And I also caveat that it's non-refundable from 3 months ahead now. Yeah. And then I say, I've penciled you in the diary. And then they say, oh, I'll get back to you. And I say, that's cool. And then I just have it in my diary as TBC, to be confirmed. Yeah. When something else comes up for that date, I'll always email that person first and just be like, look, I'm just going to let you know, I've had another inquiry through. Can you let me know in the next 24 hours if you want to have it? Yeah. And if not, then
that often
leave it, and then they'll come
works.
back. And
another thing you can do as well is quite good practice is when you send out quotes, say this quote is valid for 30 days, 60 days, or whatever. And if you haven't heard back from them in that time, you can. That's a good reason to follow up. Because the quote I've given you for whatever price won't be valid. I have to re-quote, which may well be higher price. And so it just gives you a reason to follow up. Yeah. And it means that people can't get back in touch a year later when you gave them a quote and say they want that price, because people change their prices all the time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it's slightly different in my business, but because you're doing that's actually really good advice for something of what you're doing, and I might do it because I'm starting to get bookings.
I feel like it's still relevant. Like, maybe like I'm thinking more for like maybe weddings and stuff like that. I don't know.
Absolutely.
When you're inquiring, maybe like 2 years in advance. Like, if you book this now, then it'll be this price. But if you come back in a year and decide that you want it, it's not going to be that price anymore.
That's a really good tangible way that I can attribute that to musicians is in the last few months, a friend of mine has absolutely blown up on social media. Got decent viral videos, and they went up, and he rode that wave, and as a result became a lot more in demand, was getting a lot more channels of inquiries coming through, and like we discussed, there's more demand, so he's only got so much time, so he bumps his price up. So actually that is something that I think I'll have to take on board myself.
Yeah, I mean, as we spoke about it earlier, but it's having that kind of dynamic pricing thing, and your prices should never really stay the same throughout the year, throughout for different days of the week and stuff, as we said. Like you should be changing them for different circumstances and different and times of being busy and not busy. If you're booked up, then you should be raising your rates, surely.
Yeah. I think for me as a musician, usually because I'm booked on a very personal basis, I would honour mine for 6 months. But for someone like you who's running a business like this,
yes, 60 days feels good.
60 days is more than enough, I think, for something what you do, especially to keep up with inflation and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. And yeah, just as like a last point on this one, I think qualifying your leads before they get in touch, and that's a hard one because I don't feel like you should have prices on your website because that just solidifies that's what you charge, and just as we've just spoken about, then you can't change it depending on time of year or whatever. So how would you qualify, make sure that these people aren't wasting your time and they would never pay your fee in the first place? And that's probably why you're getting ghosted a lot of the time, is because they were never going to pay that rate. So yeah, how do you stop people filling out your contact form? Maybe I do it on my website. It's a from price. Starts at this.
Okay.
Not and then if someone's not going to pay that starting price, then they're definitely then they won't fill out my contact form and won't waste each other's time.
I mean, I'm a big believer in sort of it's I'm not running a huge business, so it's not.
Yeah.
I can afford to do it on a personal basis, but I'm a big believer that you get your sale across by being personable with people. They get to see how promptly you respond, how reliable you come across, how you write an email. If it's going to be full of spelling mistakes and stuff like that, you're going to connote that you're not.
That's no excuse for anyone anymore with ChatGPT.
No, exactly, is it? So,
what was I going to ask you then? Do you ever do Zoom calls for like potential clients and stuff like that, or is it always email?
It's always email, but I'd be open to it if somebody asked. I guess if it was Zoom calls, then they might be wanting people who were wanting me abroad. Which has happened. For 1 year, I'm hoping that it will happen more in the future.
Yeah.
But, that's partially what works with the networking that I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I'd be open to it. I like the whole, like, you're gonna be a lot more sellable when you speak to them in person.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah.
With regards to the whole listing on the website thing, I did it like a little bit on mine, and then I took it off and I just included what was included in the package. Because I want to begin that rapport with someone, and they might reach out to 5 different artists, and if I've got my quote on there, it would deter them from reaching out, or could deter them from reaching out. But then if they put out 5 emails to 5 artists and then one gets back quickly and they just want to go get it out of the way, and I'm super helpful and I'm giving my show reel and I'm just there, I can book in, and they just want to get that done and dusted, I'm there for that service. So yeah, I have my standard rates, but I don't advertise them. I have heard different things from different people, and it differs from business to business.
Yeah.
So for marketing, I will have standard rates listed because I believe in treating my customers the same, but it's a little bit different when it comes down to, I think, weddings. Like if I listed weddings, corporates and things like that on my website, I think it just becomes less personal. They don't get to see who I am, and half the reason that they invest in me is because they like me for the brand that I've put together, which I connote. Yeah. And if they're interested, they'll email me. In terms of getting ghosted, I think, we'd probably have to have a personal discussion with that person and find out, center down on what it is. It could be that they're not being personable enough. It could be that they're stringing things out along too much,
or you could not be showing the value that you can bring, is what we spoke about before, as well as really showing that value, rather than just like the time you spend working on something, or how long you're going to be playing a gig for, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, yeah, I hope that one covers it for you.